birds was seeing a paradise flycatcher float across the forests in Corbett National Park. That really hooked me into birds for life. It's also been a source of inspiration for a number of other things, including the capacity of ordinary people, ordinary village people, to do what they can for the environment and for their own livelihoods. I was again fortunate enough 30 years back to be part of 2 long treks that we did in the Garhwal Himalaya with the Chipko movement, especially the women of the Chipko movement, and that's always stayed with me for life. For people who are struggling to meet 2 ends can still think about, or maybe because of that, can think about protecting trees against commercial deforestation. Having since then been involved with both wildlife conservation and with community livelihoods and community rights and so on, I think that, and one of the reasons I'm closely involved with the whole birdwatching program, and very happily involved in it, is that I think that that birdwatching in Uttarakhand can actually be, and is already proving to be, as some of the previous speakers have spoken, a very potentially powerful opportunity for combining conservation and livelihoods. It seems to me that the 2 biggest crises that we face in India are that of ecological sustainability and of the livelihoods of poor people. People like us don't have to worry so much about our next meals, but there are 500 million people who still do. And this is really a fantastic opportunity of being able to both provide sustained livelihoods to people and, of course, through that conserve birds and bird habitats and other wildlife. I think, however, I'm trying to make my comments very short because we basically have 5 minutes and we like to stimulate some discussion. I think there are at least four crucial prerequisites or challenges to this. Number one, that any bird tourism or bird watching needs to be responsible. Now, we do see that there is going to be a significant increase in bird watching in Uttarakhand, which means more numbers of people going to particular destinations, newer destinations opening up, etc., etc. And as we know across the country, tourism is not necessarily responsible. That's an understatement. In terms of numbers, we'll have to be watching what's happening. In terms of people's behavior, we'll have to be careful about what's happening. In terms of materials used and the outputs we make, even just take a small example of the lunch we had today, with all due apologies to the Wildlife Institute and the organizers. I don't know how much plastic waste we generate just in today's lunch. So I think these are the sorts of things that we are going to have to be extremely careful the more we push this kind of bird watching tourism. To build the capacities to actually manage most, if not all, bird watching and other forms of tourism. And I think that's exactly the direction in which we need to go. Third, we heard a lot today about the fantastic research work that people here are doing, and that's really, really remarkable and very needed. But there's also tremendous ecological knowledge that local communities have, and which we completely tend to neglect or forget, or we use it in our own research and then not necessarily even acknowledge it. And I think, again, this is a great, and this includes also then, of course, the cultural aspects, the stories. I was very happy to see in yesterday and today's program at Asan, there's an attempt to actually not just talk about the identification of birds, but also what are the stories associated, traditional local stories associated with each of these species. I think that's, a blend of those kinds of knowledge systems and cultural aspects is something that's another major challenge that we face. And fourth, probably the hardest, maybe the most controversial, bird habitats across Uttarakhand and across the country are in severe threat. They are severely threatened by our current model of development. If we take Uttarakhand, mining and hydroelectricity projects are classic examples of that. Communities are struggling against it. Birds are struggling against it. Birds, of course, cannot come out in the streets and protest, but we can help them. And I think it's our responsibility to make sure that we raise our voice, even as part of this program, that wherever bird habitats are threatened by these kinds of developments, we do actually add our voice to those who are protesting and saying there should and have to be other forms of development which don't cause this kind of destruction. So I think these 4 challenges are there. It would be great to have some discussion on them. As I said earlier, I'm extremely happy to be part of this birdwatching program. I think there are crucial challenges and crucial differences the program has already made. I was part of one of them, for instance, in Sarmoli, in the village of Sarmoli up in Munsiari. And you should have seen the excitement amongst the village women as participants of this program. And they have been actually repeatedly asking for a second program, a third program, and so many of them are coming for the next 3 days, putting up an exhibition. There's a lot of interest in the village communities on this. So I think there's already a difference it has made. There's much more difference it can make. 3 quick suggestions. We need much more material in Hindi. I think everything that's been produced so far is in English, and in a state like Uttarakhand, that simply won't do. I'm sorry.